out and boom, you're at the racetrack. It's a World Championship WC LCQ coming out here. It's going to be 7 laps of distance. Only the top 2 will advance. They will go to the back row of today's World Championship race to pay $17,000 in purse money. As Mike Van Dolder should be rolling out here. Ennismore, Ontario, Canada racer on the 999. The 23B from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Jake Barras.
Jake Giroux from Wisconsin, Michigan on the 72, followed by Tyler Town on the deuce from Traverse City, Michigan.
Austin Leak from Austin Eek, that's Michigan, on the 67 sled, and 157. And John Henke out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Zach Herfindahl from Eagle River, Wisconsin on the 312. And let's not forget about Tyler Beach on the 68 from Dakota, Minnesota.
Thief River Falls, Minnesota is where Benjamin Langus calls home. He's on the 231 sled and into 686. Jonathan Proctor out of Trufant, Michigan rounds out the field. 10 sleds, 7 laps, only 2 move into today's World Championship race. And again, $17,000 in purse money up for grabs. Pitlick and Wick, a sponsor of that class. It'll be run today about 1:30, I think, is when the WC is going to run. That's on a schedule. Everything else as we get to it here on his final day of the 60th running of the World Championship Snowmobile Derby presented by Pitlick and Wick. Thank you so much for coming out and joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for joining us on FloRacing as well. Got that FloRacing subscription. Take full advantage of it. Good for everything on the Flow Sports Network. 25 different verticals, wrestling, hockey, grappling, you name it. It's up there. Cheer, baseball, Flow bikes as we stack up here on the starting line. Henke on the 157. Skidoo sitting third from the outside. Going to be one to watch in this one. He's quick. Actually, looking across the board, they're all quick. Mike Van Dolder's shown speed out here this weekend. Jake Barras, Tyler Town.
That's a good-looking group of sleds, and really it's anybody's game at this point to finish 1-2. And 8 of them going home to watch the rest of the day. This is it.
Well, it happened again right there. Actually, it's a different sled. That's somebody else this time, but Austin Leak trying to get that thing up on the chip, as we call it, on the 67, kind of lurch forward. He'll have to come back and realign here. Artie Cat sitting on the outside, the 231 sled, Benjamin Langus. And again, shout out to Polaris and Artie Cat coming down here and sponsoring or being a part of the World Championship Snowmobile Derby. So we get set to go. Oh, my apologies. 5 laps the distance. 5 laps the distance. Top 2 to advance. We'll go to the back row of today's WC. Green flag set to fly. Rico giving them a once-over down here on the Ultimax Performance Belts by Timken starting line. Watch them now. We're off.
Field rolls into turn 1 off of turn number 2. They're going to single file out. A little challenge for that 5th position. Now a challenge for the 2nd position. Getting all squirrely up front, rolling off of turn number 4. It'll be 4 to go this time by, and that is our 999 of Van Dolder in the lead.
Herfindahl running into number 2 spot. Only 2 will move on to the back row to today's WC. Back into number 3 spot. Austin Leak working the high side. Kind of bebopped his way down into turn number 1 and 2. Now throttles up and hunkers down beyond the windscreen into turn number 3. He'll loft it down into the corner. Trying to drop the nose on, drive down off the banking, grab gravity, anything he can to get himself up into one of those top 2 spots, because only 2 move on.
3 to go that time by, and Austin Leak on that 67 is outside looking in. Did not get a good mid-turn there out of 2. Now straight eyeball set for that position. Watch this dive into 3.
Boy, he just kind of power slides it up there in that number 1 spot. That's a bold entry in that end of the racetrack. Meanwhile, back in the number 2 position, hustling for all he's worth on the Artie Cat. Herfindahl able to hang on. Leak not able to challenge. Can see him, just can't get to him. Cannot get into or out of the corner as aggressively as Herfindahl does on the Cat.
Just scrubs off so much speed in that mid-turn. Watch again here in 3. He's going to wash up. That 4th place competitor gathers real estate on him. It is white flag this time by. Austin Leak has 4 turns to get into the show.
It's Jake Giroux back here on the 72 sled, running into P4 spot. The Formula 3 coming to life out of the corner. 600 cc's howling down the back straightaway for the final time. Checkered flag. This is it. All or nothing for Austin Leak. Leak goes low.
Leak going to wash up. Take one more stab at it out of 4. Challenge for the lead. It's not going to happen. Mike Van Dolder and Zach Herfindahl, welcome to the big dance to go into the back row of the World Championship.
With that, we set our field for the 60th running of the World Championship Snowmobile Derby presented by Pitlick and Wick. Going into the Pro Champ sleds coming out here for their heat race action. Looks like we have 2 heat races for the Pro Champ sleds getting ready to roll out onto the racetrack. Heat race number 1 out of the Woody's Traction Control paddock area should look like this. Mark Donahue out of Marcy, New York. A scratch on the 88 sled. My apologies. So Danny Lambert out of Sorrel Tracy, Quebec, Canada on to number 3. The 70X out of Shawano, Wisconsin. That's Sean Shively.
Brendan Sather from Detroit Lakes, Michigan on the 27. Keith Wojo, going to be a scratch. And then Will Garceau from Francis Creek, Wisconsin on the 31. And
the 11 out of Lodi, Wisconsin. That's Fred Mankey rounding out the field. He raced number 1 of 2 for the Pro Champ sleds, getting ready to come out here onto the ice. Again, thanks so much for coming out here and joining us. Shout out and thank you to all the volunteers that make these 2 weekends possible. We had 756 entries last weekend for the Vintage World Championship Snowmobile races. This weekend, I think we are at 277 across the course of the whole weekend for the 60th running of the World Championship Snowmobile Derby presented by Pitlick and Wick. So a lot of support out here from the racers and the crews, and we appreciate that as well. Just want to say thank you. Know that you are appreciated, whether you're out here volunteering, you're out here as a fan, you're out here as a racer or a crew member. Thank you for being a part of this and keeping ice oval racing alive here in the Northwoods. It looks like we're going to lose a couple more sleds. Garceau also a scratch, and Mankey now a scratch. So, unfortunately, 4 scratch out of heat race number 1 for Pro Champ.
So, everyone's going to transfer here because we're down to 3. Top 5 are going to go.
Let's come out here and put these laps into the book. So we should have Danny Lambert on to number 3 sled. I see him over there on that beautiful blue sled. Sean Shively and Brennan Sather. Well, down comes the 27 sled of Brennan Sather. Danny Lambert to his outside, and then the extreme outside to 70X of Sean Shively set to kick this pig.
Yeah, there's some names that you could get the older announcer's joke of the law firm, Shively, Sather, and Lambert. That does sound like a pretty good law firm. But it's not. It's your heat number 1. And Lambert getting the early jump. He'll roll down inside turn number 1. Nice transition off of 2. Good transition for that 2nd and 3rd place as well down the back chute. 27 going to get a slight advantage. That's Sather into turn number 3. They'll roll off at turn 4. We'll have 4 to go this time by for your leader, Danik Lambert, as he rolls into 1. They are lined up like ducks in a row. Little challenge on the bottom. Sather washes up. Lambert washes up a little bit. Now we're going to get a push from Sather on the bottom, challenging for the lead into 3. Fight back up top. Watch this race off of 4. You got to think something's going on with that 3 machine. He went from the front to the trunk. Either ill handling or something going sour there. Your new leader, Brennan Sather in that 27. Also washing up, opening the door to Sean Shively in that 70X, challenging on the bottom, down inside turn number 3. Shively going to take the lead, wash up in front. Oh my goodness, this is ring around the rosy. Here comes Lambert challenging for the lead, and we're going to be 2 to go that time by. Drag race into 1. They're going to set, roll off of 2, side by each, promenade advantage. Lambert into the backstretch. Your leaders down in 3.
Danny Lambert looking good down on the insides. Got the point as he eases through turn number 3 and 4. Boy, he's slowed and woed there right at the apex. Almost threw himself back into the clutches of 70X of Sean Shively. Shively hanging tough down into the corner. But Lambert again slows and woes. But that 3 sled quick back to the trigger.
Yeah, they were swapping positions out there, and they might not be done. Lambert a little bit lower on the track trying to control that thing. Here comes here comes the 70 of Shively to the outside, but it is too little too late. Danik Lambert picking himself up a win here in the heat. All 3 sleds, Lambert, Shively, Sather, going to advance into the final.
Well, taking a look at this, we move into heat race number 2 for Pro Champ. We had a number of scratches on this one as well. It leaves us with Calvin Peterson should be coming out on the 54 sled. Eden, Wisconsin racer. Wausau, Wisconsin's Jacob Rickey on the number 8. And
Ashton Christensen on the 29. It's a 3-sled contest. And we're told that if you don't make the heat, you don't present yourself for the heat, you're done. You don't get to go to the show. There's no do-over, no gimme, no promoter's choice. We're done for the day.
Yeah, that was it. So top 5 were slated to move to the final from each of these heat races, but you have to take the green flag in the heat to be eligible for the final. So Pro Champ, Marchbank Racing sponsoring a Pro Champ. Out here this weekend, an extra $500 into the purse for the Pro Champ sleds on this final day of the 63rd Annual World Championship Snowmobile Derby, and only 3 present in this heat race number 2, so they're all going to advance. So 54 sled down the inside. Calvin Peterson trying to beat him down that end of the racetrack. We'll roll onto the back chute. Dangles that ski just a little bit, but nice corner for him. We got a broken one down low on turn number 2.
Gone from 3 to 2, so we're going to park that one down low off of 2. Calvin Peterson going to lead this contest between himself and now Jacob Rickey. Peterson getting a nice rotation there. Exit turn 2 into the backstretch. Peterson on that 54. Going to roll down the backstretch inside turn number 3. He's your race leader making his way to turn 4. It'll be, what's it going to be? 3 to go this time by.
There you go. Ashton Christensen wanted to pull it off on a racetrack. I thought I saw something come off that sled down in turn number 2, so some mechanical woes down there. Meanwhile, race leader up front putting the clinic on there for Calvin Peterson as he's able to smoothly get through turn number 1 to 2, take it down into turn number 3 and 4, working just above the rumbly stumblies and onto the front chute. Beautiful line for the number 54 sled. He'll take it across. 2 laps to go that time by.
Peterson got his hand up.
Oh!
They all quit?
Every one of them shut down. Well, we score them as they were. Put that one into the books. They all took the green flag. They all go to the final. That's a done deal with a lot of toe boards.
What kind of
required.
conspiracy? What kind of conspiracy is this here? They got a little brother pact in the pits. We get down to 2. We're just going to call it off.
I don't know what happened there.
Not much of a conspiracy guy, but I'll throw it out here for this.
So that will do it. We'll put that one into the books and move on to our F500A main event. F500A main event going to be rolling out here, brought to you by Wall Brothers Racing, putting an extra $500 into the purse. And Papa Seasonings says that if Kendra Westland can win this race, he will give her an extra $100.
So let me ask you this, and you may not know. Do they have said Papa Seasonings downstairs that I can get myself a jug?
No, he was here. He's involved very heavily with the Vintage Weekend. And obviously Kendra is as well, and I think that's the relationship there. But Papa Seasonings was out here in the pit area, Papa. Yeah, so he's just throwing up an extra $100 to Kendra Westland if she can win this category.
Extra hundo for Kendra Westland to win this one from Papa Seasonings.
There you go.
I'm intrigued. I like the name. I want to taste his seasonings.
It's good stuff. He sold a bunch of it while he's up here. I know that. I think you can buy it online, too. F500, though, brought to you by Wall Brothers Racing. Shout out to Wall Brothers Racing. Been involved with the Snowmobile Derby out here for more years than I can count. And we appreciate everything that they do for this event and also supporting the F500 class. So Wall Brothers Racing, obviously very well known in the ice oval world. But we are getting set to go. Our A main event coming out for F500 is up next. Here we go. Wall Brothers Racing F500 coming out onto the racetrack. This is your final. 5 laps of distance here for F500. Kendra Westland just talking about her Strathcona, Minnesota racer. She is on to 113. Austin Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota on to 965.
Danica Lambert from Sorrel Tracy, Quebec, Canada on the 3. And Tyler Foster from Fair Grove, Michigan on the 33T. Jason Smood from Brainerd, Minnesota on the 6. And Jonathan Proctor from Trufant, Michigan on the 686.
That slick-looking 111 sled of Tanner Foss out of Badger, Minnesota joins us. Rosso, Minnesota's Dylan Herman on the 77.
Marcus Catlin coming to us from Merrill, Wisconsin on the 50. And I do not believe that Reed Klinger will be in this one, as he sustained some damage yesterday. Family said he's doing better, said he's a tough kid. He'll be back.
And I'm sure tuned in watching on FloRacing. So shout out to Reed. Get better soon. We're thinking of you, buddy.
Good luck to you, Reed. Very much so. We wish you a speedy recovery, and hopefully you're in enough comfort that you can enjoy today's show.
Here we go. Get that 965 scooted back here just a little bit, Austin Graber. Good-looking field out here going after it. This is your final 5 laps of distance, F500, Wall Brothers Racing F500 category. As we get set to go. This is going to be a barn burner. Got the PBR sled sitting on the outside, that 686 of Jonathan Proctor. Locked and loaded. Flips on the lube tank. We get ready to go. Gentleman down here know he has a fox on his head?
Yes, sir.
I think he does. That's from Wild Things down at the Derby Hall. You need to check them out. Ready to go. Danny Lambert down on the inside. That beautiful, I love that sled he's riding in this F500 category. Watched it all last weekend as well. Fosso got the whole shot. Westland's going to keep company. 113 on the outside. Foss down low on the 111. Side by side for the race lead. 3 wide with Lambert down low.
Advantage Westland on that 113, trying to earn herself a little bit extra money on the Papa Seasoning deal here for this final. Westland going to bring the field off of 4. Foss to the outside. Was in second. Went just that fast back to 4th. The 3 sled of Lambert in second. Your leaders in 1.
Boy, Foss lost power there on the 111 sled. He's dropping quickly back through the field. Kind of went full flaps. Meanwhile, Lambert's under attack. Here comes Tyler Foster down the inside. 33T moves into P2. Lambert's back there, followed by Marcus Catlin on the 50 sled. But up front, Westland setting the pace on him. We talked about it yesterday. Just looks so good on that 113 sled.
Yeah, Kendra Westland just blowing the doors off the rest of the field. All she's got to do is maintain control, get herself an extra $100 on Papa Seasoning, and pick herself up a feature win. Oh my God, Kendra's off. The sled picked up. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh.
Caught that out of the corner. I was going back to call the rest of the field, and that sled picked up and then went the other way. It came back around. It was actually the left front ski picked up, and when it came down, it went back over, and it rolled over her. She's moving down there, but we're going to watch and get the EMS there and get her checked out. So
she started to get up, and then she decided to take a moment back there. She's getting back up again. Give her a round of applause on the back chute. That was a vicious tumble. Up, walking back to her sled. Let her hear you, race fans. And if I know Kendra Westland, I can tell you right now, if that thing fires off, she's coming back out here and going after this again. So keep an eye on her. Hopefully that sled's all right. I'll have to go through a safety check back to Woody's traction control paddock area. We'll see what happens. If she's able to get it fired up and there's no damage. Nope. Well, you can see the frustration right there for the Westland on the 113. So damage to that sled's going to have to go back to the Woody's traction control paddock area, and she's going to bypass the ride in a side-by-side and stomp her way down the back chute. Give her another round of applause. She had a run going on there. She's been fast last weekend and this weekend, but a tough break for a Strathcona, Minnesota racer. Well, tough break for the 113 sled there. Kendra Westland back into the pit area was slated to roll out in the next category as well. Sport F500 on the same sled, so unfortunately I believe might be a scratch out of that one. We'll bring him back around here. That'll put Tyler Foster, 33T, onto the point. Danik Lambert in the number 2 spot. Marcus Catlin, the 50 sled, will inherit P3. That's your 3 podium positions. Getting set to bring him back to green. It'll be 3 laps remaining. 2 laps scored into the books on the Wall Brothers Racing F500 final. Set to go, bring this one back to life. 3 laps remain. Tyler Foster up front, hunkered down. Hole shots could be crucial on this. 965 blazes to the outside. He's going to look for it. Austin Graber trying to get a run on P3.
Foster going to bring him off at turn number 2, getting high, wide, and handsome, as is the rest of the field. Putting some distance on that first place gap. We got, looks like Catlin up into second on the high side. Now we got a fight down there from Lambert, who's now fading back as I say it. It'll be 2 to go this time by, and it is for Foster.
Yeah, Lambert didn't get a good start on that. That restart did not play well, Tim. He gave up the number 2 spot, now gives up 3rd to Austin Graber on the 965 sled and finds himself trailing it at number 3 out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. He's got to hustle it up if he's going to run with him. Jason Smood rounds out the top 5, but only 3 get the trophies. And up front right now, it's trying to be Tyler Foster with the big one as he rolls out of the corner to the white flag.
Foster, Catlin, Graber, and as I say that, Catlin sets up to the high side. Inside turn number 1, he's going to get a good pull down the hill and off a 2, carrying some speed, a challenge right to the backside of the machine of Foster. Watch Catlin on that high side into 3.
Catlin was patient down turn number 1 and 2. He let Foster do his thing and go out to the wall. He could have had a run on him at that end of the racetrack. Instead, he'll challenge out turn number 4 to the inside, to the stripe. Who's it going to be? Marcus Catlin gets him by 22 thousandths of a second.
Outstanding race. Patience, hanging out like a bass eyeballing a frog.
That was awesome. Catlin wiping the visor. He was pretty sure he had it. He's looking for confirmation, and that 50 sled picks up the win. Look at that fist bump with the 33T and Tyler Foster. Foster finishes out second. Graber, your top 3.
He will be jacked up beyond belief. Again, this is one of my local guys at Tomahawk Speedway, and he's jacked up on a normal day. Now to come out here and do this on a sled, that's probably a good thing we don't have a microphone for Rico down there, because it'd be quite an interview. Congratulations, Marcus.
That last one right there was a Woody's whole shot to the paddock race as well. Westland picked that up. Give me a big round of applause. Pay him off. Boy, he was patient down at turn number 1 and 2. Waited to make his move in 3 and 4. And that was a beautiful, beautiful drive by the racer out of Merrill, Wisconsin. Marcus Catlin picks up the win. Well played, my friend. Well played. Sport F500 coming out. This is also Woody's whole shot to the paddock race. Because now Marcus has got to go back and reset and see if he can repeat the feat in another category in back-to-back as we go into race number 10 on today. Hey, don't forget, racers, if you are done racing for the weekend, turn in your transponders back to the registration building. So once again, if you're done racing for the weekend, don't forget to turn in your transponders back to the registration building. Make sure you get him to Brian. Brian can't be hanging around in the morning. He's on the same flight I'm on. So Marcus back. He'll drop off his checkered flag, reset, and get ready to stomp and romp his way around here in the Sport F500.